A personal statement. So, what is it? Why does every university make a big fuss about it? And more importantly, how can you write one that will help you land your dream program? Hi, I'm Kanan. I have a PhD in neuroscience, and today I'm going to help you how to write a personal statement. So, what is a personal statement? As the name says, it has to be personal. You can't just copy someone else's and swap in your name. It's about connecting to your committee, the person who is reading your application. It's not about listing the things that you've done in a CV, but to tell it in a way which makes a compelling story. Why you did what you did, and what did you learn from it, and where are you going to from here? Why is a personal statement so important? Because PhD is not just a short sprint, it's a marathon that takes 5 to 7 years to complete, with long nights, failed experiments, and a lot of coffee. Your grades might show that you're smart, but your personal statement shows that you have the grit and the determination and the drive to actually stick it out. Now, let's jump into the framework of what makes a personal statement. From the time I applied to this PhD school to this current year, who have successfully gotten an offer as well as been admitted into a PhD program, not a lot of things have changed. There are three main components in a personal statement. The first is the hook, the second is the body, the third, the fit. The first part is the hook. This is where you actually reel in your application reviewer. This has to be something really personal, a turning point in your life. Maybe it is a curious scientific question you had. Maybe it is a family issue, or maybe it's a teacher who actually inspired you to do this. For me, it was accompanying my grandmother to the hospital. She had neurological problems, and her doctor, who is also a science communicator, explained the brain to me in such a fascinating way that I fell in love with neuroscience. This spark carried me into high school biology, then to my biotechnology degree, and eventually into research. Your story doesn't need to be dramatic, it just needs to be true and personal. Number two, the body. This is where you actually tell what you did. Every experience in your resume, every internship that you took, every decision you made in your life, you need to include in here. And then you need to explain to them what is the logical reasoning behind the steps that you took in your life, and why are you at this point, and why do you want to pursue a PhD after this point. The third and the most important part of the personal statement, the fit. Finally, you connect yourself to the university. Why this program, and why do I want to do this in your university? Usually, you have to name 1 to 3 faculty members or professors that who you want to work with if you get admitted. You don't need to know that if they are hiring, if they are funding, or such. Right now, if you do your research, it's fine, but you have to mention some people whose work aligns with your interest that you have talked about before. This section says that I don't just want a PhD, but I want a PhD in your university, and how committed you are to that. So, as these three parts come together, usually the length of the personal statement is about 1,000 words. The longest one I ever wrote was for University of California, San Diego. It was about 2,500 words. But most personal statements are much shorter than that. Don't worry about writing a novel, but more about your story, and have a flow and reason everything you did. If you have more questions about this, or if you want me to go through your personal statement and give you inputs, please comment or DM. Let's connect. Thank you.